Hey, welcome back to the Positive Podcast. Glad you're tuning in. The host, Jeremy Todd, coming to you live from the world headquarters in beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana. Glad you are tuning in. This episode, we're going to talk about the five truths. The five truths. I mean, man, that's one thing that I just love, being true and being real. And I was just sitting here, finishing up some emails, and I thought, man, and I'm like, I got to do an episode. What should I do it about? And I need to keep it real. I'm like, I need to be true. Oh, snaps. Let's do the five truths, right? And listen, I just wrote these down, but they're so cool and so impactful that I'm glad I can share them with you. Like this episode, share this episode, allows other people to find the show. Leave those 5-star reviews. That allows other people to find the show. And one other thing before we get into it, did you know I work with people one-on-one? Shoot me those emails, jeremy@jeremytodd.com. I can help you get the podcast going. I can work on that mindset. Man, oh man, the most important what is it? The 6 inches between your ears is the most important there is, or something along those lines. Butcher that quote, but whatever the case is, we can work on the mindset. We can get that podcast going. We can get you unstuck in life. Reach out, a 30-minute power call, and I will give that to you for free. And let's see if we're a good fit. The 5 truths, 5 honest truths. Let's get into it. Number 1, be true about your personal skills. And this was great. And this is perfect. This is one of the reasons I started with this. I did the episode before. If you haven't listened to that, it was the imposter syndrome. And I talked about my skill set, my personal skill set. And then I had a call just about 20 minutes ago with my assistant, Kalua. Shout out, Kalua. Mad love for you. But I was talking about, being real with who I am and knowing my skill set. I even had a conversation with somebody at my work. And I said, you know what, man? Hey, let's be honest. My skill set's very, very easy. It's very basic. I am below average at numbers. I'm below average at like building charts and stuff like that. I'm even below average at organizational skills. It's so funny even saying this, but you know what? I think I excel. I'm above average at reading people and having tough conversations and bringing people together. I'm above average of that. So if you can average all that stuff out, it makes me who I am, but I'm true with that. I don't try and fake it. I don't try and fake it till I make it. I am absolutely 100% honest with my skill set. And I think that's so important nowadays in a world where we try and be like so many other people, watching social media, watching the news, watching sports. Hey, I'm going to be that guy. I wish I was that guy. I'm going to buy me a new car or a new house so I can keep up with this person. No one else matters except you. Right. So it's being understanding who you truly are and understanding your true skill set. Because maybe what you're doing in life right now, I mean, maybe you're stuck with it, but maybe that's not your true love either. Maybe you have a unique, true skill set that you'd be way better doing something else. One of the things with the 5 truths is you need to be true with your own personal skill set, number 1. Number 2, true with your intent. So often, man, oh man, this is like having these tough conversations that I mentioned. You have to be true about your intent. What are your intentions of your life, of your relationship, of your employer, of your boss? What are your intentions about sticking around for the next 5 years? All these intentions are so important, but this is what I do. And this is what I've done. I'm getting a lot better at it. In the past, I was not true with those intentions. I would say things to make other people happy. And what that would do over time is it would make me less and less and less happy. I wouldn't be truthful with my intentions to other people about my concerns, about what I want in a relationship. It's no secret. The mother of my children and I have been separated for a long time now, 4 years or 3.5 years, coming on 4 years. And I use that as a again, because I'm authentic and real with you guys and sharing this episode. But when we first met, she wasn't true with her intentions and I wasn't true with my intentions. And over time, as we grew older and more experienced and understood who we truly were and what we were more honest and we were true with ourselves, we were more clear with our intentions. We have different goals. We have different dreams, but we have 3 beautiful children. So, the situation I'm in now, I'm living in a house with the mother of my children, which, gosh, I love her to death. But it also gives me an opportunity to be around my kids. But the intention, we know what our intentions are. We know our relationship will never be back the way it was. And that's probably a good thing. It wasn't the best anyways. But she knows where I stand and I know where she stands. And the kids know where we all stand. It's about being truthful with our intentions. And you can relate this with your job. You can relate this with, I guess, really, it's big for relationships, right? I mean, you could do it with the job. Hey, whether you have intentions of staying long term, if you're happy at the job, yeah, I'm fine. Are you really fine? You know what I'm saying? Are you truly fine with what's going on in your life? Be true with your intentions, because I'm telling you what, it saves a lot of heartache and it saves a lot of time, but it also just makes life a little bit more freeing when you don't have to worry about what anybody else says, because my intentions are never meant to hurt anybody. They're my intentions, and they're important, and they're valuable to me. And that's, I think, how we learn to get to know each other a little bit more on a different level, is when we level with each other and make sure that our intentions are true. The third truth is, again, this almost just rolls right into it, is true to others. And this is probably a bad list. I probably should have looked at this before, but let's just roll it into it. We'll do 2.5 on 10 and true to others. But I guess it was so important. Not only is the intent of what I do in my life, but it's also being true to others, not telling people. I guess this is okay. Well, let's roll with this. Thank God I don't re-edit these podcasts, but true to others is not telling people what they want to hear either. I think that was my intention when I first wrote it down. It's when people come to you advice, tell them how you truly feel. We used to have, back in the day when I was in high school, we would have brutally honest nights, and brutally honest night was just that. We were absolutely brutally honest with each other. We would tell each other some of the bad habits that we do that we don't even realize that we're doing. But we decided as friends, and we're still great friends. All of us that were in brutally honest night are still great friends. But I can remember looking back, we had a couple of cocktails, probably smoke a little bit of weed, and we're having these conversations about what really irks us about it. And I can remember this. It's like it was yesterday, sitting there listening to my friends and just telling me what I suck at. What I was like, I think I was just rude to certain types of people, and I was kind of an asshole when I was younger. And my buddies would just tell me this, and I would look at them, and I just took it in. Their intent to me, or their truth to me, was real, and their intentions were good, and I accepted it. But it was so bizarre, because I had that mindset that I know their intentions to me are coming from a good spot. Instead of trying to defend myself and say, well, no, this, that, maybe that's reality. And that was reality, and it helped change me. And I'll never forget brutally honest nights, but it's also made me have other conversations with people, to be brutally honest with them and make sure that my intent to others is telling them the truth at all times. If they come to me for advice, I just flat out tell them, hey, this is what you need to get better at. No disrespect. It's my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt, but this is what I see, and I'm being honest and truthful with you. Extremely important to be truthful with others. Have that intent with others. Be truthful. Number 3, you got to be true to your past. I guess this is number 4. Excuse me. Number 4, true to your past. Now, we've talked about this in this episode, in this podcast, that, hey, I've gone through some crazy times in my life, from being complete. It's so funny. I say I grew up with my parents not having a lot of money, but I didn't ever realize that. I always thought, we made it by just fine. But having the conversation with my mom and my dad later on in life, understanding that they had no money, but they did a great job raising me by making sure that I never knew that, I never felt that. But I know that now. I also know, even in, when I was sexually assaulted as a kid, and I talk about that in the book. If you haven't got the book, cheap plug, go to Amazon, buy that book, The Positive Side, search my name and snag that bad boy and share it and buy it for other people. But, I'm true and I'm honest with my past. I can't change that. I can't, even having that conversation out loud, I remember the exact day. I remember the house, I remember the living room. I remember kind of the weather, but I remember different feelings and shades. It's just bizarre, but I'm honest with that. I'm also truthful with my past, that I filed bankruptcy, that I treated people terribly in the past. I was not the best person. I took advantage of drugs and alcohol, and none of that's going to change. It doesn't change who I am. I'm true. The past has been true of me, and I'm true with the past. And I understand that that's never going to change who I am, but it's actually a good thing. It's made me who I am. It's made me the stronger person. It's made me more authentic. It's made me more real. And and caring and sympathetic with other people's ideas and their struggles. Um, you got to be true with your past, because the past is good. And again, you could say, Jeremy, my past sucked and I was this and I was that. And man, I get it, but you've made it through all of them. And at one point in your life, you're going to start understanding that that's made you stronger than ever. That's part of the Positive Side podcast, is understanding that, yeah, that was a shitty side, but let's look at the positive side. And we can do that with so many other areas in our life, but we got to be true with that. We got to understand that the past has made us who we are. And then the final truth, it just obviously the opposite of the past is the future. Am I going to actually do something about my future? Am I going to make changes for my life? This conversation can go in so many different areas. Am I going to be true about committing, if I'm depressed, committing suicide? I've had so many people reach out to me about that. I guess the truth to look at that is your life will be better. Your life will always be better if you give it a chance, and life will be always better if you take an opportunity and bet on yourself. When no one else will, when your back's against the wall, and believe me, I've been in that situation so many times when no one believed in me. And I can remember making decisions that everyone told me I was wrong and this is a bad idea. But yet in my heart of hearts, I was true with myself. I knew that if I made this decision for my future, it would work out. And, but I believed it to be true. Somewhere deep down, it's like, if I, when I was a kid, I'd go down in the basement and it'd be pitch black. Yet there'd be like a little light on the water heater, or like a little night light. And I could see that light through all the darkness. Sometimes that is your future. You've got to be true with yourself to understand that no matter how bad it is, you have to believe that something better will happen to the future. Now, it's not going to happen if you don't change. That's the biggest thing. You have to take action in order for these opportunities to take a hold. But you have to believe that, and understand that it is true that it will get better no matter what you're going through. No matter what. I mean, I can look back at some of my darkest days and crying hysterically by myself in a dark room, crying myself to sleep. And man, I still remember, and I get the chills thinking about it, because I've been there and I've done that. But everybody's struggle is a little bit different. My struggle is unique to me. Your struggle is unique to you. But one thing that's not unique to us is, well, one thing that is unique to all of us is the ability to change the future and believe that the future will get brighter. Believe in the truth. The truth. I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. The truth that the future will get brighter, but you have to give it a chance. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep changing things up, reevaluating yourself, taking risks, firing your friends, getting a new set of friends, taking risks, reading books, listen to podcasts. You can't just sit on the sidelines and just cross your fingers and be on the hope system. The old saying, hope in one hand and shit in the other, and see which one fills up first. You have to take action. And I know when it's the toughest to take action is that time when it's like when you're laying, I always put myself laying in bed with covers over my head in a dark room, miserable, can't sleep. What am I going to do tomorrow? How do I face the day? Man, I've been there, and you know what? Hey, in reality, I'll probably hit it again, but those times I'll know what it takes to get through those, and it's taking action. It's doing something, working harder, working on yourself, watching a YouTube video, asking for help, reaching out, emailing a podcast host, whatever the case is. You've got to be truth. You got to be true with that and believe deep down to your soul that the future is going to get better. The Positive Side Podcast, back and better than ever. I had my buddy Greg Thomas from Fort Wayne, GT, and the Hizzy. He had to reschedule, and that's cool. It gave me an opportunity to do this episode. I only did 4 episodes in September, which is probably the least amount I've ever done in my entire life. This is episode 5 for October. We'll try and punch one out here, hopefully before the end of the month, and we'll get one. If not, we'll do it on the 1st, which is Sunday. But shoot me those emails. Let me know if you got any questions, concerns, comments, criticism. Tell me your stories. Leave those reviews. Again, it allows other people to find the show. If you want to work with me one-on-one, don't hesitate. Let's do this. I don't want to work with just anybody. I don't want to work with anybody. I can work with people. My time is very valuable, and your time is very, very valuable as well. Let's make sure we're a good fit, and let's come together. Jeremy at jeremytodd.com. Run over to the Facebook page, like it. Find me on Instagram. I've got 1,000 people there following me over there, which is dope. Run over to YouTube. 220 people on YouTube have some way, somehow accidentally stumbled onto the YouTube channel. But hey, 220 is 220 more that I had before I started, but I took action. Come on back, Jack. That's exciting to take that in consideration too. When we all start at 0, but we're all going to move up to the top eventually. You just got to keep on moving. The Positive Side Podcast, back and better than ever. You've got greatness within. Like always, this is the Positive Side.